Looking to grade your Pokemon cards and you don't know how to do it? Check out Ludkins Collectables and grade your Pokemon cards with zero risk. Check video description or visit ludkinscollectables.com for more.
Looking to trade your old bulk for some of the latest Pokemon booster boxes? Well, check ccgcastle.com. The process is very simple. Send in 1400 cards and get a brand new sealed booster box back. We ship boxes worldwide for free once we get your cards. Make sure to check video description or check ccgcastle.com for more information.
How's it going, Poke fans? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, I'm gonna show you the Gardevoir GX deck. I finally got my hands on it. I finally managed to get all of the cards that I was missing to build this deck. And yeah, in today's video, I'm gonna actually show you the version of the deck that I'm planning to use. It's of course Gardevoir GX featuring Gallade with the premonition from the Breakthrough, and also a couple other cards that I decided to put inside as a tech cards. So the first card on the list from the Pokemons will be Tapu Koko with the Fly Flip. So basically with the Fly Flip you can just attach double Course Energy and hit for 20 all of your opponent Pokemons in play, plus it have a retreat cost, so this is a pretty good card for this deck. In addition to that, of course, one of each Remoraid and Octillery. Octillery is a very nice card. It basically allows us to drop cards until we have 5 in our hand. So with Octillery, I can basically drop every turn till I have 5, which is definitely cool and very powerful. In addition to that, of course, I'm running 2 copies of the NC with the Sparkling Wish. The good thing about Sparkling Wish, the NC, is the fact that you can use one of your favorite energy cards and you can just search the deck for a Pokemon that evolves from one of your Pokemons and put it on that Pokemon as it evolved. And of course, after that, your turn will end, but at least, for example, you can evolve turn 1 your Remoraid into Octillery. And then you can simply have turn 2 Abyssal Hand. Even better, you can have, for example, 2 Ralts on the bench, and you can Sparkling Wish for 1 Kirlia, and then turn 2 you can just put from hand 1 Gardevoir or maybe Gallade, and then just use Premonition Advantage and find the rare candy for example, another Gardevoir GX. So that's the cool thing about the NC. In addition to the NC, of course, I'm running 3 copies of a Tapu Lele. So yeah, I mean, speaking about Tapu Lele, what else to say about it? 3 copies of Tapu Lele might seem a little bit too high, but the first one in this build is going to be just for the setup Bridget. The other 2 will be for the Guzma play, of course. In some other decks, for example, I'm not running 3 Tapu Leles, I'm running 2 of them. For example, in Alolan Ninetales, this is just because Alolan Ninetales can snipe on the bench, plus it can use the advantage of the Espeon devolving, so that's the reason why in that build I'm not running 4 copies of Tapu Leles. Of course, 4 copies of Ralts are necessary in this deck. Without them, you unfortunately cannot do nothing because you're not able to evolve into anything. And of course, in addition to them, I'm running 3 copies of Kirlia. So I can put them right there. And then, the reason why I'm running 4-3 line is simply because of the Espeon. I played against my friend. He didn't run 3 Kirlias. He ran a 4-2-3-1 line of the Gallade Fortress Trees, whatever you want to call it, family. And basically, I just won him because I attacked with my Tapu Koko 3 times and then just devolve his Gardevoir's back to Ralts, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, this is the reason why I'm running 3 Kirlias, much better for consistency, as well as 2 copies of Gallade with a Premonition. So probably a lot of you will say, why 3 copies? The reason why I'm actually running 3 copies of Premonition Gallade is simply because of the fact that with 2 copies of Gallades with the Premonition, I might have better matchups against Metagross decks. Of course, Gardevoir is much faster than the Metagross deck. Of course, if you can set up faster, you can strike faster, and if I can trade maybe Gallade for Metagross, this is going to be just pretty cool. Plus I can use Premonition, of course, and Sensitive Blade. Against some other matchups, Gallade can also be very powerful. For example, against Drampa, you can one-hit knock out Drampa just like that. But mainly 2 copies of Gallades are here on my list to counter that Metagross. And of course, then I'm running 3 copies of Gardevoir GX with that Secret Spring ability. If you're not familiar with it, once per turn you can attach energy, basic energy fairy from your hand, for example, to one of your Pokemons in play. Plus you can also use Infinity Force for 1 energy. It will go for 30 for each energies attached to both active Pokemons. And that Twin Light GX is very broken. You can just shuffle 10 cards back from your discard pile to your deck. So that's pretty much it from the Pokemons. As you can see, 3, 5, 8, 12, 13, 18, 20 Pokemons in total. Moving on to the item cards. This time I decided to go with 1 Rescue Stretcher and 1 Super Rod. Just because with the Rescue Stretcher, I can just immediately grab one of my Pokemons from my discard pile and put it into my hand. With the Super Rod, I can just shuffle back, even if I need basic energy cards. So that can also be very important in some certain part of the game. 2 copies of Field Blower. With Field Blower, you can just choose 2 in any combination of Pokemon Tool cards or Stadiums from play and discard them. Pretty good to disrupt Garbodors with a Garbotoxin, no doubt about it. Then in addition to that, I'm running 4 tool cards, 2 Flowstones, mainly for the free retreat. Flowstone definitely, in my opinion, over the Stadium card. I'm not running a single Stadium card, which might be a huge issue, especially against Pootown. But again, with Flowstone at least, if I stack turn 1 with something like, let's say Remoraid in front, I can just attach Flowstone without paying energy to retreat and then just simply have energy for that Yancy. Also, only 2 copies of Choice Band. The reason why I'm running 2 copies of Choice Band and 2 Flowstones, simply because of the fact that I'm also running Octillery Gallade, so I can Premonition for something that I need, then drop that into my hand. But also for the fact that sooner or later I'm just gonna strike with my Twin Light GX and I'm gonna be able to recycle my Flowstone or Choice Band back from my discard pile to my deck. 3 copies of Rare Candy, I think, is pretty much sweet spot. You can go with 4 of them, but I actually don't think that you need actually 4 of them. So with 4-3-4 line, 4-3-3-2 line, or you can say 4-3-5 line, Ralts, Curlia, Gallade, or Gardevoir, and 3 rare candies, I think this is going to be more than enough to have consistent evolving from turn to turn. And also from the item cards, the last 4 item cards that I'm running in this build are actually Ultra Balls. So yeah, without Ultra Ball you can't do pretty much nothing. So you simply need to have something like a Ultra Ball. With the Ultra Ball, we can just discard 2 cards from our hand and then simply search a deck for any type of the Pokemon. So that's pretty much it. Support line, pretty much, I should say standard, 1 copy of Bridget. If you don't know what Bridget can do, it can just set up 3 Pokemons on the bench. So turn 1, starting with a Bridget, for example, grabbing 2 Ralts and something like Remoraid. Turn 2, perfect start would be start with the Yancy, and then either way Ultra Ball, Tapu Lele for Bridget, and then Bridget for 2 Ralts and Remoraid. Turn 2, of course, Rare Candy, and of course the Yancy for those Gardevoirs, and we are ready to go. 2 copies of Skyla also. 2 copies of Skyla. mainly because with the Skyla, at some certain point of the game, if we have Skyla in our hand, we can just search our deck for any item card we need, or supporter card, or whatever we need. Any kind of trainer card can be drawn by Skyla. It's mainly here for the rare candy, so it's here to help us set up as fast as we can. Then I'm running also 2 Guzmas. Yeah, I could definitely say that sometimes 3 copies of Guzma would be better, but in this certain deck, I decided to go just with 2 Guzmas and 2 Skylas to have better consistency with the Skyla overall. But just because I can use Twin Light GX, I can also recycle Guzma. So this is the main reason why I'm running 2 copies of Guzma, only for that. If there was no Twin Light GX, I would definitely go all night long with 3 Guzmas, because being able to strike with the Guzma your opponent Pokemon on the bench with couple energy cards is definitely huge advantage. Speaking about draw supporters, I'm running 4 copies of N. And then with 4 copies of N, we can actually disrupt a lot our opponent in the late game. So for our opponent in the late game, N can be very deadly, especially if you don't have Octillery or Anguru. If we can end him down to 1 card, we can just dramatically switch game in our favor. Just because we can Abyssal Hand, we can Premonition, we can also use Sparking Light. We have so many different options to go, even if our opponent disrupts us down to 1 card. For us, that's not going to be a big problem. And of course, 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, discard hand draw 7. What else I need to say about that? It's mainly the part of the every deck. Speaking about energies, I'm running 12 energies in total, so 4 copies of Double Course energies in this build. Pretty much go straight forward with the 4 DCEs. Double Course energy can also be used for that Infinity Force attack, of course. In addition to Infinity Force, you first need to have 1 Fader energy. Mainly with Double Course energy, we're gonna have 6 extra damage counters. So theoretically, with Secret Spring, we can add just a regular Fair Energy from our hand, and then Double Course Energy, and it can be already 9 damage counters. If you have Choice Band, it's already 120, speaking about GX or EX, and you can count the rest of the energies in your opponent Pokemon. If it's Tapu Lele with Double Course Energy, it's 1-hit knockout. If it's Volcanion with 2 energies, it's already 1-hit knockout. The same thing for Ho, the same thing for the Drampa and any other Pokemons in play. How many regular energies I'm running? Well, you can do the rest of the math. 4 energies, Double Course energies, of course, and 8 regular Fairy energies, which will conclude this deck list to the 60 cards, of course. And this is pretty much it, my friends. This is the Gardevoir GX deck featuring Gallade, of course, that I'm looking forward to use in the standard format. So far, I think this is going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward, and I'm also open forward to take some criticizing on this build, but overall I think it's good and it will work just perfect. I mainly worked on the consistency so I can have the best possible setup for the turn 2, maybe even possible Gardevoir, Gallade, and Octillery line. Of course, ready to rock and roll, so yeah. If you're looking to get any of these cards, make sure to check ccgcastle.com. Link is provided in my video description. You can also trade your bulk for some of the latest booster boxes. You can get 5% discount on your first purchase by typing TCG3 code. On the other side, if you have some of the good old school or maybe new school cards that you're looking forward to maybe grade, you can send those cards to Ludkins Collectable. You can check also with the description for more information about that. It's available worldwide as well in the United States, so make sure to check CCG Castle, Ludkins Collectable. It will mean me a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up or thumbs down if you didn't like or didn't enjoy watching this video. We'll definitely see you in the next video, guys. So yeah, till then, have a nice day wherever you are, and goodbye.